Show me your hands. How many people know and had in their homes one of these things? Yeah, there's some young people here. I'm going to need to go back and kind of educate and describe how things worked in the old days for you. You wouldn't know it, but you can't carry one of those in your pocket. They're way too bulky, too heavy. They weigh several pounds. And oh, by the way, they used to have this wrapped coil to ring the bell to tell you when someone was calling you, because it had to go through ceilings and floors and walls so that we could run at top speed to get the phone. Because get this, we didn't have voicemail. Nobody could leave a message. And here's another really interesting fact. We didn't know who was calling until we picked up the phone. It was a surprise every time. And oh, by the way, when we had Star 69 come around, do you guys know what Star 69 is? All right. That was technology, because then you could call back that person. And that was a surprise too. As an aside, I would recommend never taking this apart, having it plugged in, and then someone calling while your fingers are in there. Not that I have any first-hand experience. Another really important feature of phones back then, the cord. The phone was attached to either a desk or to a wall, and the cord had you bound to a certain radius, a number of feet from the phone, like a dog with a chain and a collar on. You couldn't go any further unless you had that cord extension, not to be confused with an extension cord. You might get 25 feet out of that and be able to go into another room and shut the door so that people couldn't hear what you were saying to your high school sweetheart. And after that, your cord would be completely tangled. And you would stand and spin the phone, the receiver, around to get it untangled. And it was never quite right, ever again. Never worked right. Does everyone know the difference between touch tone and rotary dial? Okay, some of you are a little slow on that. So rotary dial, touch tone. My neighborhood exchange was 877. So it took a long time to dial people. And if the phone was busy, you had to do it all over again in a few minutes. It was not that great. Other fun facts about phones. Before 1983, did you know that you didn't own your phone? AT&T owned your phone. You rented it. You leased your phone. No one called long distance in the old days, people, because, as you can see, the rate for a minute of long distance call that was outside of your local area could have been 60 cents a minute. Gosh. Do the math on that long distance call for 15 minutes. And did you know that we could call the last 4 digits of the phone within our exchange to get to someone else's house? So my number was 877-2125. You only had to dial 2125 to call my house if you were in that 877 exchange. Pretty cool. Yeah. And if the phone rang in the middle of the night, it was always trouble. Always. So you're saying to yourself, well, who cares? I have a supercomputer in my pocket now. This is great. I can walk around. I've got news sources, social networks, databases, software applications. No problem, right? And I am Superman because of it. And my only kryptonite is not having a phone charger. Here's what I want you to chew on. Think about the law of supply and demand. It's very top of mind right now with our gas prices, right? So at $1.78 per gallon, we're driving the SUV to Canada. At $5 a gallon, maybe we're just going to go to Nebraska this year. Maybe mass transit is a good idea after. Think about this in the economy of communication. In the old days, when we didn't have that much access to phones and to communication, and long distance was so expensive, what do you think happened to our conversations? We made the most of them. Now, talk is literally cheap. Everyone has a cell phone. Think about that. So my message this morning is be grateful for each opportunity that you have to talk with people. Your fellow human beings, like we are in this room, face to face. Be deliberate about what you want to accomplish with that. Are you connecting with the other person? Are you establishing value? Are you seeking to benefit that person in your conversation? Do you want to learn something? Do you want to influence someone to believe what you believe? I know that's not very PC. Everyone, just have your own beliefs. Let's not talk about it. Do you want to encourage people? Do you want to express? Are you interested? Not interesting. Have you started talking about what you want to accomplish with the conversation with that person? Are you repeating back what that person said so that you can confirm that you heard correctly? I have just demonstrated my style of being direct and initiating in my communication style. And I'll leave you with this. One day, my family were sitting around the maple table that we had in our breakfast room, and the phone rang. And my sister leapt up and went through the swinging door that we had between the rooms in the kitchen, answered the phone, and we heard her talking, couldn't hear what she was saying. She came back, sat down, and started eating again. And my father said, "Well, who was it?" She says, "I don't know." He said, "Well, what did they say?" "Meet Bill at the blueberry patch at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning." And my dad said, "Well, what did you say?" I said, "Okay," and he hung up. We all laughed because we wondered how long Bill was standing in that blueberry patch waiting for someone to help come pick blueberries. Mr. Toastmaster.